Is the bird dog an exercise you can use to strengthen your lower back and your core effectively as part of a rehab program? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about why it can be a really, really great part of your exercise program, the benefits of this exercise, but how very, very frequently it is a terrible addition because it's just not done correctly. And finally, at the end of this video, we're going to go through how you can do it right and draw some of those distinctions between the correct and the incorrect and give you a little tip to make sure that you don't make those mistakes, you do it right, and you actually benefit from the stability that this exercise can really help you instill. Let's get into today's video. If you're watching this video, you already know what the bird dog is, or at a general conceptual level. Why is it a good exercise though? Let's explain. Firstly, it's one of those exercises that provides stability to the lumbar spine. You must engage your core whilst doing this exercise to provide stability so that the spine doesn't erroneously move, which creates trouble. And it's that erroneous movement when we're doing things that often leads us to catch our lower back, and that's how those injuries come on. Often at a task or during a task that actually seems quite insignificant. Maybe it's putting the socks on, maybe it's putting the child in the car seat, or a number of other simple daily tasks that have caused the back to go. So it's teaching you to engage that core effectively and stabilize the spinal movement. Secondly, it's an exercise whereby you've got different pulls in different directions. Now, we could do it with one arm and one leg, we could do it with only an arm, only a leg, and that's going to mean that the core has to stabilize the spine in that position whilst being pulled off in a different direction. And that's going to teach that element of dynamism, that element of bringing yourself back to center or holding the center in spite of being pulled off in one direction or another. And that's something that really, really applies to modern living. Not everything we're doing, in fact, most of the things we're doing aren't static and load-bearing in a simple plane. They're going to be dynamic and going one way or the other. And that's how this exercise can really reflect that, like many others that we actually include in the program, in the Back in Shape program. And you can use the link up here or in the description to learn a little bit more about that. Now, this exercise is one that adheres to all of those points. So we've got exercises in the program like lunges, we've got exercises like ab rotations, we've got exercises like the dead bugs. All these different exercises are very similar to the bird dog in so much as they fulfill that one criteria of engaging the core whilst being pulled off in different directions, so it is applicable to real life. But how do we get this exercise so very, very wrong? Which is one of the main reasons we don't actually include it in the earlier parts of the program at all, because it is so easy to do it in a way that is completely and utterly useless. So what is the major problem with this exercise? Well, we're going to actually demonstrate it on the mat in a moment, how you shouldn't be doing it, but unfortunately most people are, and then a little trick that you can use to make sure that you are actually doing it correctly and validate that in a sort of external way. And the big problem is that people just don't engage their core. They're on all fours and they're just wiggling the arms and legs all over the shop, and there's just not that engagement, that stability, that fundamental core competency that we've discussed in the earlier part of this video. We're just not doing it. We're just wiggling our arms, and therefore this exercise then becomes very, very pointless. It's an exercise, the bird dog, that if you don't do it correctly, it is remarkably easy to do. We're just basically on all fours going like that with our arms and legs endlessly, and we could probably do repetitions until we're bored. We could do them for an extended period of time. Now, of course, if we are doing them incorrectly, then we run the risk of aggravating our lower back. We kick our leg out and we're not engaging our core properly, we're going to tweak our lower back and it's going to hurt, and that's going to make us think we maybe can't do this exercise, when actually you can't do this exercise incorrectly, and you shouldn't be doing this exercise incorrectly. So let's get into the demonstration and show you the difference between these two, because actually when you're looking at it, when you're observing it, sometimes it's not that easy to perceive what the difference is. It's only when we use this little trick that you'll be able to see very clearly what's going on. So we're down here on the floor getting ready to do the bird dog. I'm going to show you it first and foremost, just doing it incorrectly, and you can see where it's very difficult to actually understand whether or not I'm actually doing this properly. So we're in all fours, we're engaged nice and tight, and obviously you can't see that because of the jumper here, but we obviously engage our core. We're not arching, we're not rounding our lower back, we're just nice and neutral with the spine. Four points of contact on the ground, and then we're simply just going out into that position there and there and so on. You can see the glutes contracting a little bit as we're doing this, but I could just do this all day and it's a complete waste of time. I'm not really engaging anything. It's not challenging my core. It's so easy to cheat on this exercise. And that's why there is a little water bottle right down here. And I would encourage you, save this video, maybe share it with yourself or something like that, WhatsApp it to yourself, and remember to try this one at home next time you do the exercise. Take a water bottle, and this is a difficult one to do it with because it's very, very narrow. What I've done is filled it halfway with water, and we're going to place this, so if you've got a willing volunteer, a helper at home, then you can get them to do it for you. And we're going to place this right on our lower back. I'll show you where. So what we're doing is we're going to be in this position here. We want to place it on the lumbar spine stroke the sacrum here. And that's basically going to be sat just like so. So if you wiggle, if you inappropriately shift your weight, if your spine starts moving, the bottle's going to fall off to the side. So that right at the lower back is where we're going to place this bottle and have it standing there. Now I'm going to do that myself and do a couple of reps right now. So nice and stable when you're starting off, get yourself ready. It requires a good degree of thinking as you're doing this, just from a coordination point of view, if nothing else, which is why sometimes we're so focused on just not falling over that we actually forget to engage our core and don't do this effectively. So we take that water bottle, we pop it on the back here, right at that spot. I've got the bony bits just basically where my finger is here, and the bottle is going just on there like so. Now we've got it in place. So here comes the reps. So nice and engaged core, and then out, and then back in, out, and then back in, out, and back in. Now let's do some thoughtless reps. So we can go like, and it's already gone. Okay, you get the point. And if you pause that video and rewind it, you'll see I didn't move a lot. It was a small, subtle movement, but I lost the engagement of the core there, which is what happened what happens when so many of you guys do this exercise at home, and why it's so difficult to properly do it effectively, which is why we just don't have it in the earlier parts of the Back in Shape program. But that's not to say it's not a good exercise. So if you can try it, get a water bottle at home, put it on your lower back, do a couple reps, and you will feel that it requires so much more care, so much more attention. And if you're earlier on in your back pain recovery process, doing all of your exercises, no matter what they are, whether it's the early exercises we have in phase 1 or phase 2, or whether it's some of the more advanced ones in phase 3 and phase 4, or any exercise in the gym for that matter, you should be doing it thoughtfully, especially if we have a lower back problem there. We want to make sure our form's right. We want to get those movements really, really second nature. And using external tools sometimes, just a water bottle, if you want to up the ante, you could always use a little champagne glass on the back. That'll give you the incentive to make sure you don't drop it. But if you pay attention to how you're doing these reps with real care, like you have to do with this little trick, then you're going to find that you have so much more success. Not right after doing the exercise, but have so much more success in the medium to long term over the course of a few weeks and a few months and beyond that. And you're going to get much more lasting results overall. Okay, so there you have it, the bird dog. Hopefully you found this video really helpful. Remember, this exercise, not only is it going to challenge your core when you're doing it properly, but it's also going to help stimulate you from a balance point of view. Start to really connect some of that coordination, get those muscles working with what the brain wants them to do, rather than that disorientated movement patterns that many of us have, that again contributes to the trouble that we have in the first place. That's led to us getting in a little bit of discomfort. So hopefully you have had the encouragement with this video to give this a go. If you do end up doing the video or doing this exercise with a champagne glass, make sure you record it at the very least, and you can always tag us in the social media channels, and it's just Back in Shape program on the various ones. As always, remember, if you like this video, do consider giving it a thumbs up. If you found it helpful and know someone else that could benefit from it, then please consider sharing it with them. That helps us spread the word, and it also helps us have the better understanding of what videos you guys find most effective. And you can always comment in the section below if you do have any specific questions about this exercise, how to do it, or any other tips and tricks you like with the bird dog specifically. And finally, remember, you can always subscribe to the channel to make sure you stay up to date with the latest videos, and we will see you in another video. Thanks for watching.